Good morning, guys, and welcome to Unique Not Different with me, Shamla. And today, I am going to highlight a disability awareness initiative that began the end of last year. It is through the Sir Arthur Lewis Institute of Social and Economic Studies, Salises. And today I have Dr. Bipaya Pari and Hannah Inaitola, right? Dr. Pare is the chair of the Disability Research Cluster at Salises and also a junior research fellow at Salises. And Hannah is a member of the Disability Research Cluster. So good morning, team, and how are you doing? Good morning, Dr. Pare.
Hi, good morning, Shamla. Thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure. So let's begin. So in terms of what is the function of Salises in disability studies?
Okay, thank you for the question. So Salises is a research and a graduate teaching institute at the UE. And with regards to research, the aim is to influence academic, public, and policy debates on various issues. And one way we carry forward the Salises research agenda is through a series of research clusters. And at Salises St. Augustine campus, there is the Disability Studies Research Cluster. With disability studies being my area of study, I would have created this cluster when I joined the Salises in 2019 as a staff member. And the aim of the cluster is to conduct research related to persons with disabilities in the Caribbean region. And of course, we're fairly young. So our work so far has focused on Trinidad and Tobago only. And we're currently operationalizing a memorandum of understanding between the UE and the Equal Opportunity Commission of Trinidad and Tobago. And in addition to the research that we conduct, there's also scope for other activities such as public forums and public awareness projects, like you just mentioned.
Right. And Hannah, through Salises, your team, Dr. Pare, yourself, and other members embarked on a disability awareness campaign. Can you tell us a little bit, the genesis behind this idea and when it began?
Sure. Well, good morning, everyone. So as Dr. Pare just said, one of the goals of the cluster is to bring awareness to the issues facing persons with disabilities. Our campaign was launched last year in December 2022 to commemorate the United Nations Day, International Day of Persons with Disabilities. While doing research on another project related to disability discrimination in Trinidad and Tobago, we found a recurrent theme in our data, and the data showed a lack of awareness by some employers and educators on the abilities of persons with disabilities. And we know this is not a new problem. We are aware of the deep cultural stereotypes which exist in our society when it comes to disability, and we wanted to challenge these mindsets a bit. So our goal with this campaign was to bring awareness, to educate, and to put the spotlight on persons with disabilities who are making meaningful contributions in their families, their workplaces, and their communities. And this is how we came up with the idea to highlight the stories of persons with disabilities in our public awareness campaign.
Awesome. Dr. Pare, the methodology behind this, campaign, how did your team ensure transparency in the selection process to highlight persons with disabilities?
Okay, so following from what Hannah just shared, we wanted to highlight at least 30 persons with disabilities who were contributing to society. So those were essentially the criteria for being part of the project. The person should have a disability and they should be contributing to society in some way, whether it was in the workplace, whether it was in the community, or as a parent. And to ensure that there was no bias with the selection of persons with disabilities for the project, we actually invited nominations from the public. So we had a Google form asking for basic information about the nominated person to ensure that they met the criteria. And then we shared the link to the Google form via social media. The nomination period was open for about a month to ensure that we got 30 persons. And altogether, there were about 40 unique nominations. And one of them, of course, being you. But we understood that not everyone who was nominated was able to participate, and then not everyone met the criteria as well. When we were reviewing the list of potential participants, the thing that we noticed was that there was no one with Down syndrome who was nominated. So that's when we reached out to you for help with identifying someone with Down syndrome. But everyone else who was highlighted in the project, their nominations came through the Google form.
Awesome. And Hannah, in terms of execution, how was the campaign executed to ensure that the awareness impact was achieved?
Right. So the campaign was shared online via social media during the months of December 2022 and January 2023 this year. And we want to thank the University of the West Indies Marketing and Communications Department for supporting our work and promoting the campaign. The advantage of sharing the campaign online is that though the International Day of Persons with Disabilities has passed, the videos and stories of our participants are still available online and can be accessed at any time. And we hope that the reach of our campaign will continue to educate and impact persons for years to come.
Dr. Perry, how does your team plan on continuing, this awareness drive?
So that's why we're grateful that we're here for the interview, Shamla. So thank you again for having us. Yeah. We know by being here, more persons will be informed about our disability public awareness project. And we're also thankful to you that starting next month, you will be highlighting persons from the project on your show, which of course will bring some visibility to the project and most importantly, the message of the project. And just to reiterate the message is that persons with disabilities can also contribute to society, and more persons with disabilities should be given the opportunity to contribute. So thank you again, Shamla, for partnering with us.
Pleasure. And Hannah, how can persons contribute, and where can the general public find, these information on testimonies highlighted for persons with disabilities?
Right. The videos and articles from this public awareness campaign can be accessed via our YouTube channel at Salises DSRC UWI, or via our website, tinyurl.com/SalisesDSRC. Persons can contribute by sharing the content and leaving their comments on the videos. And we encourage other persons with disabilities to also share their own stories and continue to be their own advocates. I want to sincerely thank our participants for sharing their stories, their victories, and their challenges with us. And I encourage everyone watching to go online and check it out. There are amazing testimonies and very powerful, very honest videos. You can leave some feedback for us and our participants. We'll be happy to hear from you.
Thanks, Hannah. And Dr. Perry, in your last question, right? Through you being the chair of this awareness campaign and disability cluster research, right? What advice would you give? What have you learned, and what advice would you give in terms of institutional access to persons with disability in Trinidad and Tobago?
So in terms of what we learned, we did learn a lot. We learned a lot as a team. But I think what I want to focus on is something that's evident in the videos and the articles Hannah mentioned about, which is the limitless talent and skills among persons with disabilities. And what was most inspiring, I think, for us as a team was the resilience displayed by persons with disabilities. And it's something that we can't describe with words. So like Hannah, I do want to encourage persons to engage with the videos and the articles that are online. And in terms of what can be done to ensure that persons with disabilities are included in society, based on our research, we know that currently the legislation does not support equal opportunity for persons with disabilities. So there is a need to change the current legislation. And this is actually a topic that I will be speaking to in an upcoming Salises forum in April, and so more will be shared in due time. But just to say that there is a need to change for changes at the institutional level, our laws and policies to ensure that persons with disabilities can be included in society. Thank you again, Shamla, for having us.
Definitely. And Hannah, to quickly wrap up, through your work, what advice would you give the general public through your work in disability studies?
Okay, my advice for the public is that we continue to learn and educate ourselves when it comes to disability. If you know someone with a disability and you are not sure how you can support them, just ask them, learn more about them. If you are in a position of authority, for example, if you are an employer or you own a small business, ask yourself, what am I doing to ensure that my organization is able to accommodate all persons, all my customers, and all my employees? We need to move beyond simply including someone and actually integrating them and ensuring that they have the same opportunities to realize their skills and talents. Because as you can see from our public awareness campaign, we have a lot of valuable talent in Trinidad and Tobago. So that's my advice, that if we each do a little bit, the end result is going to be huge, but we all have to do our part.
Dr. Pare and Hannah, thank you so much for coming, sharing, and we look forward to highlighting stories that you highlighted through your campaign. So looking forward to that starting next month. So guys, we are way out of time. So I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to this week's segment of Unique Not Different. As I always say, be good, do good. Until next week. Bye, guys. Bye, team.
Bye.
Thank you so much.